Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is my Shahs of Sunset recap season 9, episode 1. So it opens up with the catch up, how everybody's changed, right? Well, first they're talking about what happened in the last season where MJ and Reza went to war, said horrible things to each other. Her husband came and messed up Reza's garden. Reza got a restraining order against him. This, that, and the third, right? Reza and MJ are both Leos, so they know how to hurt each other, but they're also into these grand displays of arguing and reconciliation. So you have to expect that, right? Then we go to Gonessa, our little Saggy queen. She's on the Saggy Scorpio cusp. Our little Saggy queen, she's showing her cute little boy. Her boy's absolutely adorable. And she's making jokes about, oh, now that I have the baby, I have to hide knives. Basically making it seem like the baby has calmed her. And it's the beginning of the season. It looks like it calmed her, but we'll wait and see. Then we go over to Reza, our Leo, and Adam. I don't even know what Adam's sign is, but Adam's baking like a pie for Reza to take to the neighbor. Reza runs a strawberry pie across the street, and who opens the door but Destiny, our Aquarius queen. Destiny moved across the street because she was complaining about, oh, you know, the high rise, I need more room. You are not slick. I remember on Reza's home garden show, Reza, that property across the street is Reza's actually. So you're renting it from Reza, 1, so you can get more camera time. 2, you're going to be friend of Reza. And 3, to kiss Reza's butt, because you know if there's one thing Reza can't resist, it's $1, right? So they're talking about what happened between him and MJ. And you know, Reza's like, oh, you know, I said a lot of things, maybe I shouldn't. And he was like, yo, can you go and creep on her Instagram? So he sees the Instagram, the kid's so big, all this stuff, and he's like, oh, I really want to reconnect with her. And he goes, and Destiny's like, it's a sign, you guys need to heal this. So then he goes and he texts MJ, and MJ has the same exact reaction I would if that happened. What? Right? So MJ is just like, are you kidding me? You literally tried to send my husband to jail. By the way, MJ's little boy is so cute. He does look just like her and Tommy. They made a cute kid. Way to go, MJ. Next, we go over to Mike's apartment. He has a gorgeous apartment in like in a Hollywood, you know, apartment complex. All the apartments in Hollywood look like that. They have the pool. It looks great. But you know, Mike has money. He said he sold his houses to be next to his one true love, Paulina. Mike is a Libra man, and he's an unevolved Libra man. And at his age, I think he's 40 or 44. I don't know if he's ever going to grow up. Mike is just Mike. He's the most lovable dirtbag you'll ever meet, if a dirtbag's lovable. But you know who's a dirtbag that's not lovable? Nima. Speaking of Nima comes over. Nima, or is it Niham? He comes over to visit Mike. I don't know what it is about his face. He's a Gemini too. Mike's a Libra. So that air sign gets along. But Nima always looks so like rodent-like. Like he looks untrustworthy. He's done untrustworthy stuff, but he's just, I don't know, there's something about his face that just like, I don't trust him. If I saw him at a party, I would be like, no. Even if I had my hand covering my drink, I'd be like, I don't want this. No, thank you. Well, I'll get you something to drink. I'm not thirsty. I don't drink water. So anyway, Mike's sitting there talking about how Paulina's changed him, and they show a clip of where Paulina's like, you know, when you were in love with my 3 children, that's when I knew I'm gonna marry this man. And Mike was like, And listen, I know that Libra fade out. Listen, here's the thing with unevolved Libra men. While they're with you, but when they're not, they're not. You know, and they don't think of anything in long term either. So it's just really interesting to me that he's taking over with his true love with 3 kids. When they move in together, let's see what actually happens. Because if she has kids, where are the kids gonna stay? Even if they're with their father most of the time, where are they gonna stay? He says he's doing this because her ex-husband's cousin lives next door. Mike, shut up. Anyway, Paulina must come from some money, right? Because you know Mike loves girls with money, because Mike can't figure out a way to make some. Nima's talking about how his casting agency had to go out of business in the pandemic. Nima, shut up. Your casting agency never got anybody cast. It was nothing but a project for you to find like hot actresses to date, right? Or actors, depending on who you ask. So I know a lot of people that have weak excuses for businesses, even trust fund kids. I know they use pandemic as an excuse to go out of business because it is the perfect time. because people don't judge you for what you did with business. People are just like, oh, okay, well, it went out of business, no problem. So good timing on that. But then Mike, being Mike, dirtbag, some girl takes her shirt off and he's like, ooh, yo, Paulina? I don't know. Some people like to chase after their men. I don't like to chase after my men. I don't like to worry about the person that I'm dating. You feel me? And he seems like he requires a lot of worrying. And as a Libra, it's really dangerous when Libras can't self-regulate. So here's the thing. Most Libras when they're young can't self-regulate. Always into bullshit. However, when you get older, you learn to self-regulate. And Mike has not learned that skill. I don't know. Thoughts and prayers, Paulina. Thoughts and prayers. Okay, so anyway, we go over to Tommy and MJ's house. Wow. Their house is so nice. I mean, I just like the vibe of it. You know, I love a good California house, West Coast, but I love the vibe of it. It's in Calabasas. It's a suburban, sleepy, but it's perfect when you have kids. 5 bedrooms, and then the grounds and the neighborhood. It's just, I don't know. If you are going to be about that suburban life, it's a really good place to be in suburban life, right? We find out that Tommy's taking anger management classes because Reza actually did press charges. He was able to escape jail by going to anger management classes, and he extended the restraining order till 3 years. No lie, they should have got a better lawyer because all Tommy did was just break some pots in his yard after Reza went off and said that stuff about his wife. I mean, I'm with Tommy on that one, right? I'm with like, Reza, you needed a lesson, right? So then MJ's like, well, I just want you to know that, I feel like the group's divided, and she starts with her bullshit, right? Because she misses Reza. She does. That's like her buddy, her blood brother, right? Or at least she treats him like it. And she was like, the group's divided. It's Destiny, Gigi, and Reza over there, and then everybody else. And he was like, that's not a divide, that's a moral compass. And I said, good for you, Tom. Tommy's good for a one-liner, right? It is a moral compass, right? And she's like, I want to go and meet. To which I thought that was a bit odd because I can't imagine being married and somebody literally getting a restraining order on my husband and presses charges on my husband and me, and because my husband was defending me, and me going out my way to be friends with them. It's just odd to me. Okay, maybe Persian culture is different. They say sharp things and then they come back. And I'm not even gonna say Persian culture, maybe that, but yeah, that's a hard one. Would you do that? And Tommy asks, why doesn't my wife have my back? And she's like, you're always gonna be my husband. He gets so heated, he has to start saying his affirmations because the alarm goes off. And he's like, I thank God for my food and my daily bread and whatever. He is not doing that shit 6 times a day. But you know what? Work that camera because you need to look like you're doing your community stuff, right? And MJ's basically like, listen, I want to meet them. They said they want to meet. I'm going to keep an open mind, but know that you're my husband and I'll always respect you. Tommy was like, all right then, let it go. I don't need to hear anything else. I respect Tommy for the fact of Tommy knows his triggers and he knows that MJ was saying some bullshit to him, but he was like, man, okay, fine, good enough. Bye. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, next we go to, I think, Gigi and Destiny. Okay, so then we go, I'm sorry, it wasn't Destiny, it was Anila, Gigi's sister. This was actually a really heartwarming scene because I know that Gigi in old episodes, she talked about she was abused at the hands, I think, of her gymnastic coach, which apparently is a very common thing. If your kids are in gymnastics and you're watching this, make sure you double check the coach. But her and her sister had a lot of beef, and I was never clear what that beef was exactly. I knew there was a little bit of sibling rivalry. I know the sister always thought Gigi had it easier. Gigi always felt, for some reason, victimized by it. I don't know. I really don't want to speak on that, but it was some deep shit between them, and I was never clear on what the issue was. I always felt like there was something they weren't saying. In any case, they're walking, and guess what? They're tight again. Anila actually delivered her baby. You know, Gigi's like, she hasn't had sex in 2.5 years, but she has a Rottweiler, 2 cats, a baby. Her Rottweiler is so cute. I love the way Gigi dresses up her pets. And she has her sister, and they really do seem like they grew closer since Gigi had that ectopic pregnancy. So I'm really happy to see that maybe the baby is changing Gigi, and Gigi is letting go of whatever this anger is that fueled her all through her wild child stage. Listen, I know that she's a Sag and I'm all for people having a good time, but with Gigi's good time, you saw a thing where the party stopped and you really saw that she was dealing with some severe issues and some severe pain. And I'm glad it looks like she's moving on for that. Good for you, Gigi. Good for you. Okay, so it's now time for the sit down with Reza. MJ's driving and her mom's on the phone being like, you need to acknowledge what you did. MJ can be, I'll be honest with you, MJ can be perfectly horrible. But MJ's mom is worse. I don't know why MJ's mom, I don't want to call her a narcissist because we throw that around, but there's something missing in MJ's mom's mind, the way she talks to MJ, the way she treats MJ, and the way, like, I don't know, it's like she doesn't protect MJ. I can see why she's with Tommy now, because Tommy really does ride out for her. But then it's just weird the way she's going to meet Reza. Anyway, they sit there and they're like, hey, what's going on? Ah, right? Fake smiles, awkward hugs and everything. And then Reza sits down and they're just like, you know, he drinks his iced coffee and he's like, what happened? And MJ is like, between us. And she was like, a lot of stuff happened, but I don't want to open it up and pour salt on the wounds and put lemon in it. Like, I want to move forward. And Reza's like, listen, there's regrets and there's sadness about a lot of things he did. They are so dysfunctional. They're like a dysfunctional couple. And Reza is like, ugh. Like, again, they're likable and funny, but when they get into those things, that's when you start looking at them like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, ever since Asa left, there's been a very evil streak. Not evil, that's the wrong word, but like, y'all know, put it in the comments what you think it is. But the way maybe Reza and MJ were free to be the worst versions of themselves. And, you know, and they zoom into the reunion where her mom was like, no, even though Reza hurt her, like, you need to keep your friends. And I don't like the way her mom encourages her to keep painful people in her life. Now, I know this is a show. I thought about it and I was like, the producers probably made them sit down because they agreed for a birthday dinner for Mike in Palm Springs. Yo, their Palm Springs shit is infamous. One, how are you having that and Tommy's not invited because he can't come around? How are you going to have a friendship with Reza and he can't even come into your house? Or when he comes to your house, Mike has to leave? I want to know how that's going to work out. I really want to know. Or maybe Reza will drop the restraining order. I'm watching this real time, so you're probably like, do you not know the answers? But I'm watching this real time. So they agreed to the overnight trip. It's all good, y'all. This is going to be a disaster. All right, let's move on. So anyway, we're back at Reza's house and Gigi is there. And also Destiny, Reza's neighbor, is joining for like a little backyard soiree. Just the three of them. Gigi comes dressed to kill, ass out. You know how Gigi do. Tits up, ass out. Show her what you all about. Destiny's there too, trying to do her little thing. Now the interesting thing about this is they start talking and she was like, listen, he was like, listen, me and MJ are going to try to work things out. I think it's good for them. I know we'll never be best friends, but I miss her. And then I started thinking, is this the producers or do they really miss each other? And he was like, and we're going to do something at Mike's house in for Mike's birthday in Palm Springs. And Gigi's just like, same thing I said. Yo, I've been watching Shahs of Sunset since season 1. Nothing good happens in Palm Springs. Nothing at all, right? So, that happens. And then they're like, but is, not Jessica, why? Damn it. Paulina, is Paulina going to be there? And it's like, well, it's Mike's girl. It should. Until afterwards. And Gigi starts telling the story about how she was eating pie. That must have been some good ass pie, right? Because Jessica started texting her, goodbye forever. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And Gigi was like, yo, can you guys stop playing while I'm eating pie? And Jessica was like, not Jessica. Ooh, I did it. Paulina was like, I don't play games. And then Gigi's like, then why the hell are you texting me? Gigi was so into that pie. She was disrupting her quiet place, right? And she sent it to Reza. She sent it to the whole group. Screenshots showing that Mike has been cheating on her. I'm watching this real time, but remember I told you about unevolved Lieberman? I'm sad. I'm sad that I was actually right, but I was right. So then it goes over to Reza's not Reza's house, right? We're at MJ's house now. And MJ is inviting Mike and Paulina over. They're having like a couples night. And Mike was like, yo, do you know the craziest thing happened? And I'm like, what happened? He's like, the other night, like, I think my phone got hacked. And I was like, MJ looked at him like, and Paulina even gave him the side eye, but you could tell he told her some bullshit and she chose to believe it. But in the middle of it, Mike's phone rings and was like, ring-a-ding-ding, hold on, I have to say my affirmations. I'm happy for this and I'm happy for Mike and Jessica. And MJ's just like, so Paulina's annoyed again, and Mike starts telling this bullshit story about who, what, when, how. So for some reason, somebody hacked into his account, follow me on this, hacked into his account, found his girlfriend's phone number, sent made up screenshots, and then sent it to her. Mike is a goddamn cheater, and what's more, he was the one texting the girl, so he's still out in these streets. The girls aren't even pursuing him. He really is one of those creepy guys that, you know, if you've been in California, right? And especially you're in Glendale, he literally is one of those creepy guys that, or in Hollywood, right, that runs up on you and it's like, oh, you're beautiful, let me buy, starts flashing cash, and then be like, oh, let me show you pictures of my wife and kid. Mike is a creep. Nima and Mike, ugh, they're just dirtbag central. I'm so sad I was mad about Mike being a dirtbag, though. I really had better hopes for him, but once a cheater, always a cheater. And Paulina, you have kids, so why are you dealing with this? Mike is a full-time job, and on top of that, he has this ego because his mom catered to him, and he has an insecurity complex because he's never going to be as successful as his dad. One, I don't think he has the mind for business, and two, he doesn't really want to put the work in. He just wants the accolades. So his dad's really hard on him. His mom is too easy on him, so he's expecting women to cater to him. God, Paulina, why? You saw Jessica, who even converted for him. He cheated left and right. Girl, run, 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 run. Anyway, let me get to the good part, right? So Gigi and Reza and Destiny are sitting around talking to it, and Destiny was like, listen, Mike really has an issue. He needs to be stopped. Like, this is not healthy for anyone. He has low self-esteem, Gigi gives the oddest answer that makes me think, is Gigi still messing around with Mike? Because remember, like a few seasons ago, they had something and they kept going back and forth because she was like, Mike doesn't have any emotional connection to the sex. So I feel like it's not really cheating. And yeah, it's a problem. He needs to talk about it and get some work done. But it's not like she's making a bigger deal out of it what it is. Gigi basically said, let that man cheat in peace. And when she said that, Gigi's not the type to let her man cheat in peace at all. So the fact that you said that about Paulina's man, Mike, it made me think, are you still messing with Mike? No, for real, Gigi. Are you still messing around with Mike every now and then? You guys are the friends with benefits, heavy on the benefits. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know. Is she? Whatever. So Reza and the girl were like, Reza and the girl were like, are you insane? Who's going to just let somebody cheat in peace? This is the dumbest thing you've ever said out your mouth. And Gigi's like, whatever, y'all want me to talk to Mike, but if I talk to him the way I want, y'all aren't gonna like it because she's probably gonna hype him up. So then we flip back over to MJ's house. Yo, that's producers for Shahs and Sunset. I know I was talking shit about them earlier, but they're actually doing a really good job of just making things funny. Probably because Mike is such a clown. He always brings like the dumb, not even drama, but just the dumb idiocy of it, right? So, so he was like, this person was sending text messages. So then MJ was like, did you text back? And Mike was like, huh? And she was like, did you text the person back? And Mike's looking like stuck. And then it goes over to Destiny and Reza, and they're reenacting. Mike's asking the girl, she like thin or thick? Does she like, she's asking, are you boo with this? The girl told Mike, yo, slow down. This is a girl that he met in the DMs. And he sent her a pic, and Reza was like, this 10-year-old damn pic. A pic of him flexing, sucking his gut in from 10 years ago, and his goldenrod is in full view. Yeah. And then, so who was it? Destiny was just like, no. Reza was like, stay away from girls in the DMs. Like, what is wrong with you, Mike? Mike is an unevolved Libra man who gets his ego through sexual conquest because that's the one thing he thinks he's good at. The thing is, he might be, right? He has no problem seducing girls, but the thing is, he hasn't realized we're not in high school anymore and the game is played. It has changed. Nobody cares anymore whether you can get somebody to the house. Everybody is in their 40s. They're looking at who can hold a family together, who can be a good wife, be a good mother, be a good husband. Like, they're looking at grown ass people things, and the things that Mike used to impress everybody with. Everybody's like, we've been there, we did that, we're out of that partying, hookup, random. You know, it's like, yeah, Mike literally is like a football player that after high school, everybody grew up and did other things, and he's still like talking about, like, worse than that, every time you see him, he has a football and he's throwing the football. Mike is a tragic character. I feel sorry for Paulina, but girl, didn't you see what happened to Jessica? But I'm sure Mike talked all that shit. I feel sorry for her though. I feel sorry, even to the fact of they're planning on moving in together. No, he's not. No, he's not. That's why he got that apartment at that party pool, because he is planning on being single post haste, and he is looking for a woman to let him cheat in peace. I wonder why he doesn't get with Golnessa, because Golnessa already said she'll let him cheat in peace. Anyway, let's move on. So anyway, MJ and Paulina go into the kitchen. I'm watching this live time, so it's unfolding like, oh my God. MJ and Paulina go into the kitchen, and Paulina starts saying this isn't the first time it's happened, and she's seen other DMs. They're asking Mike, why don't you just change your number? He's like, I can't. It's impossible. And everybody's like, why don't you change your number? He's like, because you don't understand. I have like people I've known since I was 21 in Vegas, and everybody's like, why do you need people's numbers from Vegas? And he's like, babe, you know that we do business. We do business together. Mike is such a dirtbag. Even his excuses are dirtbag excuses. Babe, we do business. We do business. It's going to be impossible. So anyway, Mike, like Gigi said, just wants to cheat in peace. Yo, what does Mike offer that he thinks he even deserves that type of relationship? I mean, Bill Gates told Melinda, let me cheat in peace, and she did for the most part. What does Mike, who still doesn't have money, lives off his parents, and is just a dirtbag, why would anybody let you cheat in peace? Like, Mike, your value is going down, down, down. So anyway, Tommy goes into the kitchen to talk to Paulina. MJ goes outside to talk to Mike. Tommy is like, listen, it's all bullshit, this and that. And Paulina's like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. So Tommy almost can't stop from laughing. He's like, Mike, get in here, she's not believing it. And Mike, the way he aggressively lies with a straight face, it's almost scary. Like, I see why these girls get gaslit, because the way she was like, MJ was like, you know, you need to fix the situation. And Mike was like, what situation? She was like, the situation with you and the inappropriate text messages. And he was like, I didn't send those. I already told you. I have nothing. What's she upset about? He literally tried to get mad, and he's trying to push this false narrative. It's a little creepy. It's a little scary on my end. Just like, I don't know. It's just weird. So anyway, Mike refuses to believe. She's like, listen, Paulina feels broken. She feels betrayed. Just promise me you're going to get her back to 100. And Mike's like, for what? I didn't do anything. How do you cheat? How do you send pictures of yourself in full glory? How do you get caught multiple times and you sit there with an attitude and try to bully everybody into thinking that the sky is not blue? Yo, Mike needs therapy or something. And I called it, right? When they were in the kitchen, Paulina was like, yo, like, I think like Mike needs attention. I think he has low self-esteem. But like, Paulina, why are you sympathizing with your abuser? Fuck him. Get out. Leave. No. Bye. So Mike and Destiny, not Destiny, Mike and Paulina. Why can't I remember that girl's name? She doesn't look like a Paulina, does she? I don't know what a Paulina looks like, but I don't know. That name just doesn't suit her. It's her name, so that's what we'll call her. They leave to go. Mike keeps on going with his creepy ass gaslighting. Super creepy, being like, Paulina, no. Oh my God, you're going crazy. And all she's doing is sitting in the car being like, shut the fuck up, you're a liar. Because you embarrassed her in front of your friends and it became a running joke. Because when MJ was like, oh, I had tiramisu for you for your birthday, and Tommy made a joke like, why don't we get the girl that Mike was texting to jump out of the cake, right? And when they get into the car, Mike's like, listen, I can't stop people from texting me. That's on them. Mike, you can block, you can change, you can do... I'm not not even getting into it because once you go down that little gaslighting hole, it'll just go down. So then Mike does this weird thing where she tries to make it seem like Paulina is just running amok in the palace acting crazy when literally she's just saying fuck you. And then she gets out the car and she's a little tipsy, but she takes her shoes off and Mike tries to run up to her and she's like, no, you're not spending the night with me, get out of here, I don't want you here. And he's like, they're filming us, stop. And then he's in the car and he's like, oh my God, Mike is a gaslighter. He is emotionally abusive. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just giving me bad vibes. And this is coming from someone that likes Mike, but this I saw like the bottom of that well. It reminded me of what he did with Jessica, but the only thing is Jessica didn't let a lot of that stuff play out on camera. Paulina, I wonder what her sign is. She has no problem getting an audience and letting the world see. Mike is, ugh. So then they show what's coming up in the season. Yo, I'll say one thing. How come Shahs of Sunset has so many cool vacations? Is it because California is such a big state they could do a lot? They actually did a lot of stuff during the pandemic. I really like this Western thing that's coming up where it's going to be kind of like a Western Clue. It looks like they traveled to a foreign country, but I don't think they could have. But anyway, it all looks super, super fun. And I actually can't wait. I'm excited for the season because finally they are bringing drama. See, episode 1, Mike's a piece of shit. He's still a hoe. Paulina is the new Jessica, or Paulina's the old Jessica. She's in for a world of hurt. And it's really messed up because she has kids too. Mike is never, y'all, ladies, I don't know why anybody would ever talk to Mike Shahid, but it looks like Mike's going to be on the block this season and it's going to focus on all his dysfunction. I know they try to touch on Nima stuff, but nobody really cares. But who knows? Because at the beginning, before I actually saw the whole episode, I was like, man, move on, move on, move on, right? I just had my spidey sense was tingling when I was like, Mike's such a dirtbag. And then the next 3 scenes, I'm like, God damn it, producers, you set me up. Good job, Shahs of Sunset production. Good job in creating storylines. Good job on entertaining us. I am saying this because I sat through all of Real Housewives of Atlanta, where their production, it was just nonsensical. And I like the fact that they let the messiness play out on camera, not off camera. You know, whenever the mess starts is when they pull the cameras out and they follow them around. I really enjoyed it. All right, you guys, you know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. It helps the algorithm help lift me up. Just like Mike said, no, just like Reza said, I need to be uplifted. So come uplift me, all right? Talk to y'all later. Bye.